How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. What is up, people? Welcome to the final episode of this week. That's right, we do have a holiday, a nice long weekend coming out, so final day tomorrow to somehow score a green day and end the day or end the week green for myself. Today I didn't really have that chance. I mean, let's be honest, I had that chance, but I started the day pretty red. I was overly bearish on Nvidia, and then ASML reported their earnings, and they had a decline in revenue. So all that combined, I thought, ASML, Nvidia both could give you some good downside move, and got overly bearish. Didn't really have any luck today. But later on, when Powell started talking, that's when things really started to go in my favor, and I basically got the opportunity to make all the money I lost in the day today, all of it back, and end the day break even. There was a chance where I could have also ended green and ended green really well, but I gave up on a trade that could have done that for me, because it hasn't done anything good for me all month. So I figured, you know what, let's pass out on this today, and then it just happened to be that today was the day it's working. So just the way trading goes, right? That's the way the cookie crumbles. Overall, I'm just happy to once again, this is probably the third time this month where I'm down quite a bit, and then I fight my way back later on in the day. Just such a battle when you go through that. So exhausted by the time I get home, so depleted of energy, and then having to review those trades on stream, and then also prepare for the next day. So drained off of the battle, but gotta get ready to take advantage of the market moves that we have at the moment. Powell coming up at 130, really moving the market. Before that, the market didn't really do a whole lot, right? Lots of sideways action, and then the 130 Powell conference really started to shake up the things, and the market went on a nice little sell-off later on in the day. The sellers really took in control and gave you opportunities across the board. Google, Nvidia, BABA, Meta. I mean, you pick a stock and it basically gave you an opportunity to short it. So why don't we go to the full screen, talk about my trades real quick. We already talked about my trades, but really quick, show you the executions on the day today, and then we'll create a watch list and then prepare for the stocks that are important tomorrow. There's also an IPO to prepare for, so we'll do all that during the stream today. So I'll show you guys how the day started, I guess. So looking at ASML, they reported negative. They reported a revenue decline along with Nvidia gapping down off of Nvidia news. All that combined, I figured you know, taking that short over here on this little breakdown and looking for a nice little move to the downside on ASML didn't really end up setting up that way for me. And you know, taking a big beating off this one off the open. And then there was another one, Nvidia, which was I think the third name. Nvidia off the open too. Lots of back and forth and just kind of making bad decisions everywhere. Bad decision, bad decision, bad decision. Much later in the day, this is where I actually redeem myself for all of that. This is where I turn Nvidia from a deep red name to a nice little green name for myself. And I guess you should really say thank you to Papa Powell, because you know, without him, none of this would be possible. Thank you to Papa Powell. Without him, none of this would be possible. You also got a good short opportunity on Google, as Google was taking out its lower day today. At the same time, Baba also, it was in a very tight range, and when Baba took out its lower day along with the market right around 130, that gave you a beautiful short opportunity to capitalize on also. So you pick your name today after 130, and all you had to do is be short on it, and you made profits. Here's a bunch of charts. These are almost nothing burger trades. Most of these are flat trades or losing like a D level risk on all of them. So these stocks don't even matter to be worth talked about. It was mostly ASML and Nvidia off the open, and then it was Baba, Nvidia, and Google later on in the day that contributed for that clawback, that battle, that warrior mentality, and you know, having the opportunity to come back to fight another day. Thankfully, still break even on the week, but we need to I guess I shouldn't think about it that way. You know, having that stupid goal, an arbitrary goal that doesn't even matter. The goal should be to take good trades, right? The goal should be to focus on setups, be disciplined, stick to your rules, and so on. So focus on taking good trades, and if you do that, the outcome will be a nice positive green day. And with the way the market's moving at the moment, VIX going up to the up 8% as Powell talking. So VIX going back up, obviously market going down means VIX going up. You have gold names going up quite a bit. Gold names AEM, GFI, NEM over here, GLD if you're looking at the ETF, which I think is GLD, is the gold ETF, or is that the Barrick Gold? I forget sometimes those tickers. Or I think GOLD is Barrick Gold, and that's the actual company, not the ETF is GLD. I think that's how it goes. I usually forget how they work. UAL going up to the north side, but the AAL down 4%. Usually sympathy trade, but no sympathy trade over here for American Airlines. Hertz did get a big pump after the news that Pershing Square took a stake in them. That was a monster pump over there. Nvidia up quite a bit, down quite a bit after the whole China thing. I mean, this, I don't. We talked about this yesterday. I still don't think that's that big of a deal. They're just gonna buy it from elsewhere. And then Baba, more delisting chatter from what's his name, Gasparino, Charlie Gassi, coming out and talking about more delisting. But also I think it was just Powell's comments taking the stock to the downside. Hood, Robinhood, Bull, that's the Webull. ASML, we talked about that real quick from my trade. So basically the watch list for tomorrow is for the most part the in-play names that are from today. You're going to be taking a look at stocks such as Nvidia, Boy, I feel like today's stream is going to be very, very short. Thankfully, I don't have to stream a whole hour because not really much to talk about. So it's stocks like Nvidia, Google, Microsoft, your large cap stocks. On top of that, you're looking at the overall market, which most likely is looking like previous supports are turning into resistance. Right now, it looks very much like reject off the 21-day moving average, a reject off previous support, and not a good look for the overall market. So more downside could be imminent. I'm not sure if the overnight markets, what direction they have opened up into, if it's the positive direction or the negative, but it will be interesting to see how the market sets up. Nvidia was almost about to break $100 today. I don't think it did. Yeah, it did. 100.45 was the low of day today, but Nvidia very close to breaking the $100 area, and if it does, I don't know how Nvidia can't flush big time after breaking the 100, unless a big buyer, lets it break 100 and then steps back in. Who knows, right? But Nvidia looks like it wants to break 100 and party to the downside. There was a big buyer on there was a big buyer on 100 today, I think over like 1 million shares and so on. So if the buyer's there too tomorrow, I would love to see how the stock behaves on that breakdown through 100, and look for a big short opportunity, day two kind of a move. Market did bounce later on into the end of the day close today, and that is, I guess you could say, a little bullish. That also took Nvidia back into 104, 105 area, but that 100 is I think Nvidia's got a date with that 100 area tomorrow, and we're gonna find out if that buyer is still there, how much are they gonna actually decide to buy. Good evening, Prad, and the chat. I'm getting ready for Free Fall Thursday. That's true, but there is no Friday, so we might just get a Free Fall Thursday. Powell is calling. Powell is chilling, letting Trump do his thing. Maybe Christmas Powell might bail Trump out. We don't even know if Powell is going to continue being the chair, right? Powell might just end up resigning, and somebody else might step in. We don't know. We'll see how things end up playing out. But yes, we need Powell in this moment. He is the hero that we never knew we needed. And not all heroes wear capes, and Powell for sure does not the one with the cape at the moment, and Trump's never gonna let Powell be the one with the cape. Powell's got to be the one in the shadows and come out for the country over here. Why am I acting like I'm American? I'm not even American. But for the markets and so on, he did say he's not going to intervene. He said the markets are doing what they need to do. I guess he means by that none of this is good for the market, and rightfully so, the market's doing exactly what it needs to do, and show the president that, hey, maybe what you're doing is a little stupid and you need to calm down a little bit. But we've seen him get scared from the market crashing, and I'm pretty sure that was part of the reason why the 90-day pause and all that other stuff came into play. But, all that is just speculation at the end of the day. Right now, we got the China battle to deal with. And I feel like, China's not going to back down. Everyone's thinking, USA is the number one consumer in the world. USA this, USA that. I don't think USA is number one anything anymore, man. You're only like 15 to 80% of China's exports numbers. China could easily say, we don't care about those 15 to 18%. In fact, China could also have backdoor relationships with maybe Vietnam or I don't know, Thailand or like some other country, and hook up connections with them. Basically, that will allow money to be generated for the other countries, and China would still be able to supply it to USA just through other countries. It would say assembled in Vietnam, which was basically means made in China, but it was assembled in Vietnam or something like that, right? So I'm not sure if USA is actually going to come out on top. USA is just going to end up having to pay a lot more. USA meaning the citizens are just going to have to end up paying a lot more for all their items, and it's gonna put you into real consumer spending decision points where you have to decide what you're gonna have to buy, what you're gonna buy, where you're gonna spend your money, and so on. You might have to eat out less if you do so. Just basically creating another form of inflation at the end of the day by doing all this. And China is still just going to continue making the money or a little bit more money because they get to charge their suppliers or their offloaders a little bit extra percentages and so on. So I'm not sure exactly who is going to get hurt from this. For me, I think it's the little man and not the big man. And for sure not Xi Jinping. For sure not China and Xi Jinping. Right, China. I sound like I'm a communist at the moment, but China's been here for 5,000 plus years, and they'll stay here for another 5,000 without America. I don't think they need America by any means. They got the rest of the world. But we do have one thing coming out and saying Trump came out today or yesterday and said we might start needing countries to pick between China and us. And if those are the statements kind of being thrown out, then yes, we are talking ourselves basically towards the direction of war. Already having Nvidia, China embargoes with the chips and AI. Basically, the battle is to compete against AI. China seems to be ahead a little bit on the AI front, at least from their latest metrics on the Baba Gwen, I think is what it's called. Baba's Gwen AI model, and then DeepSeek's R1 model, and so on. But maybe now ChatGPT and Grok are also kind of comparable, or also maybe ahead. I'm not sure actually who's ahead at the moment. But it's a battle for AI, and they're trained with semiconductor chips, and if America is not ahead, they gotta limit China somehow, right? So this is part of that process. Nvidia is apparently going to take a pretty decent hit because all that, and if so, more downside for Nvidia. Burn, baby, burn. Actually, I don't mean that. But downside for Nvidia coming in, along with a bunch of other semiconductors, AMD, Micron, TSM, and so on. Love to see the volatility going up. Where did the volatility close today? Came around 32.63, or I guess it's like not really close. It should still keep moving, right? Or maybe not. Does volatility market actually close at 6 o'clock? I guess like the proper QQQ S&P 5. I guess makes sense. I don't really look at VIX. I just look at VXX and UVXY because that's what I trade. So kind of makes sense, I guess. UVXY is what the UVXY. Am I typing something wrong? There we go. UVXY. My watch list is really blank. I don't have anything. I have nothing in my watch list. Is there anything that reported earnings tomorrow? Ooh, look at that. There is one that reports earnings tomorrow, and that might be something to keep an eye out for. TSM. That's a big name. That's an earnings name. That's a Taiwan Semiconductors, and ASML, Nvidia. Basically, your whole semiconductor basket again. You're watching the semiconductor basket. You're watching the Bitcoin basket. Let's quickly go take a look at where Bitcoin is today. Bitcoin pretty much again an inside day, correct? Yeah, so another inside day for Bitcoin. Not too much action over there, but once Bitcoin does break that little support low, multi-day hold low, we could potentially drop back into the 78, 75k zones on BTC, and when that happens, there's going to be some opportunities on Coinbase, on MSTR, and so on. But until then, not really too much to be done over there. I think a couple trades over here that might need to be highlighted, which I have been talking about basically all week long, is Nike. If Nike actually gets below that little support area that it's been building for multiple days, with given how weak the market is, I think even the EU members who are in the negotiation topics, they recently came out and says we could see tariffs coming out for a long time, and they could actually stay there for some time. So we're looking at possible damage on a company who has a lot of potential problems with tariffs and so on, which is Nike. So Nike going to the downside, breaking that support zone, will be very, very interesting to see if we can take advantage of a short there. What else? Well, if I can't remember. There was another one. It was Nike, and I guess you could throw like other clothing brands in there too. Lululemon, ANF, AEO, AEO, and so on. But I'm more so interested on just Nike. Like Nike's got a lot of problems. And if this one really breaks down, I think it's got a clean move room to at least $47, which I want to participate in. Shorting Nike on pops if it's weak below 52 and riding it to the downside. Let's see it happen tomorrow. But for that, we need free fall Thursday. Given that it is a short week, maybe we don't actually see a lot of volume coming in. It has been a little slow for the last 3-4 days. You can see how the volume is very, very light. Today's volume did pick up, but it's still very light volume for the last few days compared to what we saw on the big gap down days on the market. Thankfully, the volatility is still, very much present. So we are having opportunities to, for example, I had 3 times this month where I go deep red to start my day with. But thanks with volatility, thanks to people dropping their comments intraday during market hours, giving the market some room to move around with, giving you multiple trades later on. So maybe that's the goal. Just stay away from the trades until like 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock, maybe even 12 o'clock, and then come into market at 1 and just see what happens at 1 o'clock. Is tomorrow a half day? I hope not. I hope tomorrow is not a half day, but I think it is a full day. So let me just quickly go see if there's anything on the econ calendar tomorrow. Building permits, jobless claims at 8:30, housing starts, initial jobless claims at 8:30, Philadelphia numbers, Atlanta numbers, Fed bar at 11:45, 5-year tips auction at 1 o'clock, and nothing really besides that. Not too much activity, but the 8:30 is a little important over there. And obviously Fed member, currently markets have been reacting a little bit to Fed member comments, especially when the Fed member name is Powell. So you want to be careful if anything like that happens. I don't think we're gonna see the schedule for tomorrow until it is tomorrow. But this is a good website to take a look at what's in store for Trump each day. So if you see that Trump is talking about something that day, then you might want to be a little careful and be ready to tune in to see what exactly they're talking about on that side. Today I did miss this one over here because I was traveling my way back to work, so I might have to see what was being talked about on this one after stream. But you get the idea. Go take a look at this website, the roll call, to take a look at what's in store for tomorrow on Trump's calendar. We do have a stock that reported earnings, and it is a metals name, which is a little important because some metal stocks, or not metal stocks, I should say, metals and materials and minerals. Stocks have been moving up to the north side. Let's quickly go take a look at if this one did move along with them. Alcoa, AAU didn't really do too much, and the earnings move was also pretty much a nothing burger. So it looks like a dud over there. Maybe tomorrow you get a trade by actually seeing the stock breaking out of this little zone back to the upside. But for the aluminum, which I think, or aluminium, however you want to say it, producer, not too much action. Good support, I guess, off the long-term daily chart, bouncing off of previous support areas. But as a day trade, doesn't really excite me too much on this side. The stock I was talking about today was MP. No, not MPC, MP. MP popping back up to the north side today and gave you some sort of an opening range breakout long, but that also kind of got muted later on in the day, sadly, and didn't really have too much follow through. I did get a long on it. I did capitalize on a good long, but later on I tried to catch that dip and I got paid. I got punished and I gave back everything what I made on that one. What else was there to talk about for today? Where is it? Prad, your administration for the Chinese borders on adulation. What are you saying, bro? Prad, your admiration for the Chinese borders on adulation might suggest shorting China stocks and gold miners tomorrow. What is adulation, my guy? Oh my goodness. Excessive admiration or praise. I don't praise Chinese stocks. I short them. I short them every single day. And I love shorting Chinese stocks. What are you saying? Clearly, you haven't been watching my streams because that's basically all I've been doing every single day of the week, and you know, helping myself being a little bit profitable by doing, because exactly that, right? Shorting Chinese stocks has been amazing. I've just been talking about that too every day, waiting for the pops and shorting the pops. And Pinduo Duo, if 87 comes into play, I'm very excited for that 87 to come into play. If we do get Baidu, what is it, 73? Yeah, 73.50. If that ever comes into play and actually breaks down, I'm pretty interested in that breakdown. Baba was a good short today. Baba right back into previous ranges after a breakout. Gap up breakout, but right back into previous ranges. Still above 200-day moving average, though, for our good friends over in China, for our good friends over at Baba. TraderPrad, I blame Trump. Powell is just reacting to Trump's BS tariffs and telling people how that affects things. I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, Powell didn't really, I guess, dump the market today. It was already down. He just added fuel to the fire. But you're not wrong when you say that, you know, the real problem was, I guess, Trump kind of talking tariffs and tariffs possibly causing more inflation, or what's the term you're calling, stagflation, whatever. You know, does this use the words how they are? Tarifflation is what we're gonna call it, I guess. Tarifflation coming into play, and yeah. Only thing that matters right now is previous resistances are turning support, or previous supports are turning resistance. For example, so S&P 500, right? Beautiful previous support turned into a resistance on Wednesday, and then turning into a resistance on the next pop up over here, potentially taking the market right back to the south side. Not a good sign. What you also don't want to see is the 200-day moving average starting to turn to the downside and have a negative slope. Negative slope meaning, you know, if you look at the 21 moving average, that's the orange line over there. It's a negative slope over there on the way down. Right now, you got almost a zero slope on the 200-day moving average. But once the 200-day moving average starts to have a negative slope, that is not going to be a pretty picture for the market, because then you're just going to see, you know, pops and sells, going to be way more way more downside potentially coming into the market, and you know, that is very much looking like what we're going into. Once we start flattening out, we better immediately turn back up, or things are not going to look too pretty. Things are not going to look too pretty. You can just basically zoom out and look the last time the market had that curve on the 200-day moving average. We did have some conversations about rate cuts. When is the next FOMC? FOMC is 7th of May. So next month, 7th of May, we got FOMC, and expected to still hold the current interest rates. But after that, we got a 50% or a little bit higher than 50% probability that they are going to cut rates in the 18th of June. So we'll see if that actually plays out like that, or do these numbers change again as we get closer and closer, especially if tarifflation is a real problem, right? That's not gonna really help move the needle too much when things are costing a lot and people are not able to spend money on groceries and you know, the basic necessities, the basic needs, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. CHA IPO tomorrow. I'm not even able to find it. What the heck? Is it CHA? CHA on Nasdaq. Chagi Holdings, $26 to $28. I don't even see it on my watch list, or sorry, on my, what is this company? Okay. Chengdu, I know where that is. That's in China. Only reason I know that is because iShowSpeed was in Chengdu, China recently, right? So yeah, Chengdu, Chinese company. It was a China scam, dude. Okay. A tea company? Huh. A tea company. I don't know how much I am looking forward to trade a Chinese tea IPO tomorrow. Especially given the whole delisting and so on. You know what? Maybe it's going to be really good for the short side. Maybe it's going to be really good for the short side, given the whole delisting, Baba, and so on. So, for sure going to be on watch, but I doubt this even IPOs tomorrow, honestly, because I don't see it on my other website. Usually I see on that other website everything I want to see about a stock that's IPOing. Usually that website has all the details ready for you, but nothing on CHA. That's very strange. Nothing on CHA at all. Very, very, very strange. Let me quickly go to my profile here. Click on. I need to send it to my friend. My friend, he just sent me his charts, so I need to review his charts, and I gotta send him my charts. Okay, Nvidia is a good short idea, 100%. Nvidia, any semiconductor on watch, even ASML. I'm going to be watching ASML tomorrow, AVGO, any of the American semiconductor companies, right? AMD was a good one today. Intel potentially, but Intel, I'm not too keen on day trading this one at all. What else was there? I'm not sure Micron was good today. I didn't really watch it, but I'm just gonna watch Nvidia and probably ASML for some sort of a day two opportunity. Really, those are going to be my two poisons to pick on tomorrow. Then I have the China sector always in my back pocket. That's going to be Baba Pinduo Duo. Pinduo Duo level on the daily is a big level, so giving up that level on the daily would be something. Not sure we're gonna see that tomorrow, but giving up that level on the daily would be very important. I have my alert set up. So tomorrow, final day of the week, basically going to be looking at all the stocks that we have been looking at all week and so on. And a lot of the stocks are basically pushing back into last Wednesday's lows or around last Wednesday's highs. So it just depends on, are these stocks going to break above last Wednesday's highs, or are they going to break below last Wednesday's lows and open up more room to the downside? At the moment, the market is kind of in between, but it just goes to show sellers in this area are ready to push the market right back down, shove it right back down, stuff it. Really considering selling AMD put off 86 point, basically going long off of $83 a share. Probably not a good idea given the whole semiconductor news catalyst. But if you're thinking about the long term, then just buy the shares, right? Dollar cost average into the shares instead of selling options, because you never really know with the volatility we have going on. It could easily pop back up, and then you're out of the money. Now you're taking a loss. That's just not looks like a fun thing to do. You might even get exercised on that, right? You're basically saying you want to write an option and collect premium on it because you think it's gonna sell to the downside. Not a bad idea. But at the same time, with the volatility we have going, it could easily pop up and then sell off later on, getting you trapped and then potentially even having you exercised on that position. I'm not sure if that's something that you want to be considering doing. If you want to buy 83, just buy 83 on shares and buy the dip, right? But I'm worried that the dip is going to get even more juicy and even more to the downside. So waiting to see how the 200-day moving average sets up on both of these markets, the QQQ and the S&P 500. Looks like we are flattening out, and that is often not a good thing to see. The 50-day moving average is also crossing the 200-day moving average from above, and that means that's the, what do you call it, the death cross they call it. So that is a little yeeks. Also, I have an anchored VWAP from the Japan carryover trade lows, and you can see how that anchored VWAP is kind of turned into a resistance also. So lots of bearish sentiment at the moment from just looking at the technicals on the market, and I'm not really seeing anything too bullish, too positive coming out from Trump, from markets, from the Feds and so on, that is helping us look towards the long side just yet also. So given all of that, I'm looking short for the most part, especially if Nvidia breaks 100 tomorrow. If Nvidia breaks 100, I am so ready to short and finally have an opportunity to have another green week in a row. I'm on a little bit of a green week streak, so I want to keep that green week streak going. Today break even, yesterday red, Monday green. Basically gave back everything I made on Monday right back on Tuesday. Today would have been a bad day to end, but thankfully I fought my way back as a warrior, so I'm pretty happy doing that. And tomorrow gotta focus on not doing the dumb shit off the open and really smashing the trades when they set up. Just smash them when they set up and exit properly. Stick to my exit rules. That's basically all she wrote. Don't really have anything specific to talk to you guys about today besides my overall market sentiment. Keep in mind it is a short week, so Friday no trading. I will be very questionable of buyers tomorrow because I don't know who is going to be buying this market into a long weekend, given all the craziness that Trump can say over the whole weekend and really cause turmoil to the market. So potentially want to be careful if you are swing or investing in the market at the moment. HTZ was a monster long today, but yeah, if you are interested in looking for a swing long or something, then obviously not the environment. So let the volatility cool off a little bit, and then let the markets maybe reclaim their 200-day moving average, and then we can talk about some investments and some longs. I would have had a fill on AMD today actually if I had prior knowledge of the price and options. I just jumped on $90 too fast. That does worry me though, so yeah, that's why I said considering. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I don't really trade options, so I can't really give you any answers. I'm not too knowledgeable about options, but if you are looking to buy the dip, then always buy the dip easier with just doing with shares, in my opinion. But if you know what you're doing, then yes, go right ahead, baby girl. Go right ahead and kill it, because I know you are a killer, Mobo. I know you are a killer, absolute slayer. Trying to see if there's anything else I need to talk about. I guess, yes, go check out my affiliate sponsors. The links are down below in the description. You get discounts, Flash Research, Trade Ideas, TraderSync, Benzinga Pro. Get discounts by clicking on the links below. And have yourself a monster long weekend. Enjoy with your family. I'm gonna finally clean my room a little bit. It's been an absolute mess. There's clothes everywhere. So clean my room a little bit on the long weekend. Potentially, what's on the UFC side? I know there's no Formula 1, I think, actually, this weekend. Is there Formula 1 this weekend? Saudi Arabia. There is Formula 1 this weekend. Awesome. So Formula 1 this weekend. And then UFC this weekend too, please God. Oh baby, yes, this one is going to. Oh no UFC this weekend. I'm gonna be so bored. But I guess that's gonna give me opportunities to refine my trading and learn some trading video, or watch some trading videos and some Lance videos I actually need to catch up on. Some good tips that I want to tell you guys about AI real quick. If you have your trading data, download your trading data, put it into a Grok or ChatGPT, and ask it to be your trading coach and your manager and so on. And it does a pretty good job. You can do that with ChatGPT too. Or if you have data on stocks, download the data and put it through AI and tell AI to help you analyze the trading data. It actually does a pretty good job. I was pretty surprised by playing with that. But that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna give away more secrets. You might have to. I'll lead you to the water, but you're gonna have to do the work and actually drink out of the pond and quench your thirst. And I'll end it on that note. Have a great long weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Wish you guys all the best. Let's end the week green. TraderPrad out. Peace. After the after hours with your host TraderPrad, I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow, as you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, TraderSync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.